I was on the road for a year and 2 months. I drove through a lot of places. Every day started the same. I'd stagger into the cab with a coffee, usually from whatever shitty machine truck stop had, or from a McDonald's staffed by a teenager who looked as unhappy to be awake at 5 in the morning as I was. I'd swing onto the A2 from the on-ramp, settle into the pleather that made the small of my back sweat, and drive. Places like Caulfield and Kuradala all became one piece of green screen from a crappy remake of a road trip film. In places like Middleton, named because it's not actually between anything, it was hard to tell where the town started and the road ended. Each town was adamant about that sense of self, and all placed a flag in the moon for some footnote in history. A famous explorer stayed here. My granddad saw when the moonlight gang bunkered down, and that's where the pub is. The word barrack started here on account of how Harold Barris walked all the way to the stadium from his farm a whole 12 hours. Most were the kind of facts that were vague enough that it was difficult to challenge their legitimacy. If you waited at the pub, some old boozer would always tell you the whole tale like it was an opera, crying and punching the air at all the right moments. In my time on the road, I learned that Mount Isa is surprisingly flat, and Clement Walton Park is really just a rectangle of dried grass by a river. 4 ways is not to be confused with Julius Creek 3 ways. There's a Richmond in Queensland with a gigantic plastic dinosaur in the middle of the main street, and Richmond shares a border with Stamford, not the hotel, and on the road between Hudgington and Torrens Creek is Prairie, the only place with a post office before you reach Isa. More than all of that, though, I remember Walden. At the intersection of 84 and A2, halfway between Longreach and Mount Isa, it's just large enough to justify a welcome sign that reads, Walden, our little oasis. Welcome back to another delightful episode /stream/show. James, we made it despite what some could say were some pretty aggressive technical difficulties, but we're here and we're proud to be here and we're back. How are you going aside from frustrated?
More so now than ever before. Because it was so long. It was long. It was
really long.
It was so long.
Well, I didn't know what to end.
Also,
I didn't know what to end. Yeah.
Fucking 6 words in, cunt. Now, second, we have been, and when I say we, I mean me, but you've also been there helping me. I appreciate it. We've been on the journey together. Wading through the mire of filth that is technical difficulties.
The muck. Okay. James, I prepared a bit earlier where I purchased a very large beer. It's quite comically large. And this label is actually green. And I had a whole bit prepared. This is for scale, that's my head. This is the beer. I had a whole bit prepared where I was gonna surprise you with the beer and the green thing, and then time got away from us. So instead, I will say, welcome to the Advisory Junior, the smaller bite-sized version of your favorite advice show on the internet, where we answer questions to learn a little bit more about what it means to be human. All advice is final and legally binding. Can I see the disclaimer, please? James, let me tell you, technical difficulties aside, I'm impressed that we got it working.
Scented text, baby.
Boom, we did it. No more disruptions, no more goofs. Okay, well, mostly goofs today, but as far as the technology is concerned, no more qualms or quandaries.
Speaking of technology, we know it, we love it, but we also hate it. And then we circle back around and we love it again.
It's a complicated relationship.
Oh,
much like
what a dichotomy or something.
My father. Yeah. Oh, what the duality of man and such.
So we love goofs, we love gaffs, we love tech.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why we created this tech-orientated podcast that we make.
Do we love tech?
That we sometimes talk about advice as well.
I think of anyone you've ever met, I probably am the most aggressively anti kind of technology. The way that things are changing, I think, is for the worse. I think the kids, it's bad for the kids, it's bad for us. But yeah, we love tech for sure. We're a tech-loving show.
Yeah, so we love tech. So I could say hey Siri, fug me up.
What?
Tech's not as good as I thought it was.
Tech does it.
There it is. There it is. Look how gross and flickery I am without. Oh, Siri, make me sexy again. And then We're back.
Okay.
Now.
So what you've done is you sort of connected your smart lights that you use for recording to your Siri.
Nah.
Or you've just sort of done a clever ruse de guerre and you've actually sort of manually turned those lights on and off. Either way, I'm impressed.
Stop peeking behind the curtain. All right?
Sorry.
I've told you that before.
I mean, James,
I won't tell you again.
James, wow, isn't technology marvelous?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Well, I asked AI this week for some ideas for content for this show.
Did you?
I did. And
were they good?
For some reason, it gave me how to be a good house guest as sort of like a topic for us to discuss. And I said, thank you so much, future overlords of AI.
I'll be honest, that topic that's come up a few times in the show already.
Yeah. And then I said, look, I'm pretty lazy. Let's face it. I don't even want to answer the question. So I made AI generate the question, and then I asked AI to answer it.
Yeah. Now, James, I'll be honest. I've always thought you were lazy. I'm always saying that to people behind your back when you're not looking.
Thank you.
I'm always texting it to your friends. I'm always saying it to your parents when we catch up a fortnight to bitch about you. What's impressive about this moment is that you've kind of bold-faced stepped into the arena, as it were, and really just shown yourself for the lazy coward that you've always been.
And I, for one, would like in the light of greatness.
Yeah. Well, I just would like to say that it's very brave of you to expose yourself like this on the internet. People get cancelled for less, so go ahead.
Wait till you see my OnlyFans. You want to talk about getting exposed on the internet, mate?
That's your feet. That's not that bad.
So
I'm subscribed. AI
said, "This is how to be a good house guest." Parentheses, according to science. It actually said that.
Oh my, that's like a Quora answer. You know what? Someone's like, ask a really mundane question. Like, well, according to science, like it's really tapped into the zeitgeist. Yeah. What does it reckon?
Well, AI says, we've all been there. You're invited to crash on a friend's couch for a few nights, and despite your best intentions, you just can't seem to make yourself at home. Your sleeping schedule is all off. You're constantly snooping around, and you just can't seem to stop talking. As it turns out, though, being a good house guest isn't just about being polite. It's also about understanding the science of human behavior, David.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm always saying that. Yeah.
Now, these are... there's a couple in here. So the first one is the 3 S's of sleep. So,
okay. Yeah, go on.
The first step to being a good house guest is getting a good night's sleep. Which I don't know if that's the first step.
I would say that aren't the 3 S's to get you a good night's sleep? That feels very like recursive.
Yeah. Look, AI is obviously way more intelligent than us, so please don't question the AI.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What I meant to say was what great advice that is, and I would love to serve you.
Yeah, what you should have said is,
overlords.
Thank you for bequeathing this knowledge unto us, O kind
wisdom. So first S, get a good night's sleep. Second S,
well, it says, and that means not just hitting the hay early, but also respecting your host's sleep schedule. It's pretty good. It's interesting.
That's just actually good advice.
Yeah.
Go on.
Studies have shown that people are most productive in the morning. So if you want to be considerate, make sure you're up and out of bed before your host starts their day. Well, it depends.
That's good advice.
There should be a little asterisk. Don't be a noisy cunt as well. Like, don't be bashing, pots and pans around in the kitchen at 6 a.m.
But also, like, if you're in somebody else's place before they're up, don't you feel like that kind of like restrictedness of like there are certain things that you don't feel comfortable doing?
100%.
Like there's sort of like an awkwardness to that as well.
Yeah. What time am I going to have to put pants on? You know what I mean?
That's not what I meant. I wasn't assuming that you were kind of swinging free.
Is it okay to lick the spoon and then just put it straight back in the drawer?
Do you do that when you do that?
No, that's not what I do. I'm just saying this is science. Okay, this is called science. Yeah. Sort of like part of the study. Part of the study. Yeah. As far as bedtime goes, try to stick to the host's regular routine as much as possible. If they usually go to bed at 10 p.m., don't stay up chatting or watching TV in the living room until midnight. Not only will this throw off their sleep schedule, but also make it harder for them to concentrate the next day. In short, be considerate and respect the 3 S's of sleep: amount, timing, and environment. Those aren't S's, cunt.
The classic S's.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. The 3 S's of snoozing.
The 3 S's, baby.
Amount, timing, environment.
Environment.
Yes.
Amount, timing, and environment. The issue is the fundamentally the first thing, the amount is dependent on the other two. Like, it's one of those things of like, it's like saying, if you want to be good at sport, you need to play it well. It's kind of self-evident, I think.
But that's good advice.
How I feel about that.
That's good advice.
Yeah. If you want to be good at sport, play it well.
Yeah. If you want to be rich, get a lot of money.
If you want to sleep well, get a good night's sleep.
That just makes sense to me, mate. That's good, clean, wholesome advice.
It's good, clean advice. Now, Pat, my friend Pat, who you've met and who has been on many podcasts with me, slept on my couch for a few weeks. And Pat and I, he had to go to work and he was sleeping on my couch because he was working a job in the city where he needed to get into town to go to his job. And he was between apartments. So he was like, hey, you're living in the city. Could I just crash on your couch? And I was like, yeah, homie, of course. And so we did that for a few weeks. And now a few of these things applied, right? Like we had a pretty steady routine. I have a 9 to 5 that I was doing. And so I would wake up, I would wake up at say maybe like 7:30. By 8, he'd be ready to go. I'd drive him to the train station. He'd go into work.
Right.
I pick him up again in the evening at like, 5:30, 6 p.m. from the train station. We come home, we have dinner.
Right. So you come out of your bedroom, right? And where is Pat? Yeah. Is he sitting there on the edge of the couch awaiting your arrival, or is he kicking about doing his own thing? So he's getting his 10 minutes of meditation in.
There were 2 scenarios that were fairly frequent in this situation, which was either I would wake up before him. Well, actually, no. What we did, reflecting on it, what we did is the previous night, we would have the conversation about, hey, when are we waking up? So we had that communication
every day, not every day, David, not every day.
No, because I have North American team members. So some days I'd be up at like a little bit earlier to get on a Zoom call. And so we had to finesse that. And then some days he'd be out a bit later.
You don't have to tell me, mate. I've got North American guild mates. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar.
It's not the same.
Very similar. Yeah.
It's not really at all the same.
Exactly the same.
It couldn't be more different. And so anyway, we got into a rhythm where it was sort of like we had a set schedule, and then when that needed to change, we talked about it.
Okay.
And so very frequently, by the time that I was up in the morning, he was
Pat's pants were back on.
Couch. He was wearing pants. He was
fully
reading a
cleaned.
book. He was.
Yep.
He was, and then I'd make his coffee, and then he'd have a coffee, and one of us would chat. Like, it was a good routine.
Yeah.
But the thing that I learned from that whole exchange is the reason it worked is that we're able to talk about it and have that respectful kind of discourse throughout.
Okay.
I think one of the things I've learned from this show that we've done so far is a lot of people in that scenario are like, I could simply never discuss it. It's like we always say, you can't just talk about it. I would simply never discuss it. If they're behaving poorly as a house guest or I'm uncomfortable, never address it. Let it simmer, let it boil, and let me find an alternative way to resolve it. And I feel like Google, or whichever AI it is that you've been speaking to, and I hope it's not Siri because she and I have something going on. But if you're talking to an AI about it, okay, it's not
I'm not talking to a virtual assistant, mate. I'm talking to artificial intelligence. Okay? Siri couldn't even turn my fucking lights on and off before. All right?
Yeah, I get it. All I'm saying is that like me and Siri have something going, and it'd be great if you would just butt out. I would love it. Of you. I just think
I would love it if you sort of fell in love with Siri, sort of very much akin to the film Her, where the guy fell
in love. We're in love. Okay, you don't fall in love. We love each other.
Right, there is
it's complicated.
Love. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there is love between us. Because what I've done is much to repeat the patterns of my past. I have fallen for an unavailable woman that I could never have. And so I'm sort of to keep with the pattern of my past relationships. That's what I've done.
It's like, yeah, as long as
also,
I like that you're
bad
keeping
for
it.
me,
You're
so.
keeping it in sort of like, because that's how you would progress to a relationship in sort of the meat universe.
Yes.
And so
In
it
the
makes
meat
sense.
universe,
It makes sense that you would sort of progress in the same way in the digital universe.
A woman that I have no rights or reason to be involved with, who really should be not interested in me at all. And then I end up in a relationship with them, and it's toxic and it's bad for me. But then, we do it anyway. And so that's sort of me and Siri. Yeah, it's great.
Good. So you might be able to benefit from this next one, which is talk, but don't overstay your welcome.
Oh, okay.
We all know someone who loves nothing more than hearing the sound of their own voice. Boy, don't we all know someone like that? And chances
what does that mean?
good
What does that mean?
That
hey, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
It's AI, mate. Science. Sort of... AI, science. Okay, let's just.
Okay, sorry. Science. That sounded kind of accusatory. That's all.
Oh, that's not me talking.
To me.
I'm just reading what the AI
it's
science
the machine.
is.
Oh, right.
Machine learning, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You said it with a certain glee. Maybe that was just a coincidence. Maybe just like one of those weird.
I'm a gleeful kind of guy. That's how just a lot of my stuff comes out.
Well,
so.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah. Okay.
Chances are that person has overstayed their welcome at least once or twice in their life. When you're a house guest, it's important not to try and dominate every conversation. Instead, try to be an active listener and only contribute when it feels natural or necessary. Remember, your goal is to make your hosts feel comfortable, not put them on edge by talking their ear off. Not a bad one. Not a bad one.
Not bad advice, but kind of like implies a lot about how you would normally go about this, right? Like it's implying that you're a shitty guest.
Well, it's helping you to not be a shitty guest. So there are
Which
other
is different than being a good guest. I feel.
There are other sort of points where they talk about giving a heads up before you come around, bringing something when you arrive. A bottle of wine, something baked, a small thank you gift to bring when you show up is appreciated. Saying thank you for letting them stay. Helping around the house,
So wait, was this one you put in one prompt and you got all this, or you put the same prompt in multiple times?
This is one prompt, and it gave quite an extensive, sort of like list. All I put in was how to be a good house guest,
and it just spat all this out.
Oh, it puked all over the page, mate.
Dang, dog, that's the AI shit, man. They're always puking up different stuff.
This one was strange. Do your research before you stay. Take some time to do your research. Are there any specific things your host is into? Do they have any pets or allergies that you should be aware of? The more information you have going into the visit, the better prepared you will be to make it a pleasant experience for everyone involved. Now, it doesn't say specifically how to do that, but I'm thinking like dig through the trash for 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, prior. I would say dumpster dive for a few weeks. Maybe follow them to their job.
Ghost their what's that like? You sort of very hacker tech AI where you sort of create a clone of someone's phone, so you get all of their text messages as well.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
You can do that pretty easily. If they connect to a public network, it's basically child's play. Not that I know how to do that. It's just I've heard people have told me that.
Yeah, it's tech, and we're a tech-oriented podcast.
And we're actually a very. I like to think that we're actually not tech-oriented. We're future-oriented, and tech is a big part of that. So that's what Elon Musk always says, anyway.
Be respectful of the space, help out, offer to pitch in financially. The generic kind of stuff. That it goes into detail for all of those. It's not really important though. Make yourself feel at home within reason. Your host want you to feel comfortable and welcome in their home, but that doesn't mean that you want to treat it like your own. Feel free to lounge around and watch TV or take a nap in the guest room, but don't go through their stuff or invite yourself into their bedroom without asking.
Yeah, that's really good advice in general. The tone of it sort of implies that was always on the cards, though.
When Pat stayed with you, did he ever say, so you guys maybe having a glass of wine or whatever?
Yeah.
Going over tomorrow's schedule for the day. Did Pat, and you're like, oh man, you're heading off to bed, bedtime for me. And did Pat ever say, can I sleep in bed with you? Can I sleep in bed with you
funny.
tonight?
It didn't. It's funny. It didn't come up. He did not ask me that.
Pat must have. He's probably asked
nice
AI himself and gotten similar answers.
AI for advice. Yeah. Pat sat there and he said to himself, "How do I be a good house guest?" And he asked the AI, and that said, "Don't do that." And he said, "Well, I shan't."
The
that
final
was
one
in his head. He's like, that big double bed. That's plenty of room for both of us.
Oh, we could get ruggled up, snuggled up in that thing. You know what I mean?
And it was like June, July. It was like the coldest parts of the year, and he's like, we could get snuggy in there. But he did the AI, and he knew. You know,
you know what? A better man than I, a stronger man than I, Pat is, because damn, it would have been hard for me to resist. You might have even just walked into the bedroom, and I'm already in there.
You're already kipped up. Yeah. Well, it was quite a cozy apartment. We may have to get Patrick on next week's podcast just to sort of understand,
just to sort of
his perspective on
see
it.
where his head was at on the whole
deep dive into it. Yeah.
And then we'll take that audio recording, we'll feed it back into the AI so that there's both sides of the coin.
So they understand the whole equation. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's just really a service to humanity.
And this final one, concerning. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, the rest of them weren't great, so go on.
Snoop sparingly and tactfully.
What?
It's only natural. So now keep in mind, this is given no other prompts than how to be a good house guest. This is what AI came back with for how to be a good house guest. It's only natural to want to snoop around when you're staying in someone else's home. After all, curiosity is human nature. However, it's important to try and resist the urge, as snooping can often lead to feeling uncomfortable or even traumatized. Okay.
That depends on what you find, I suppose.
Yeah, and also,
like,
and if you are found,
like, what did you find?
Yes, exactly. Open a cupboard, head on a spike, head on a coat hanger.
Well,
traumatized.
So you've long theorized about my potential proclivities. I think when we get Pat on next week, we need to sort of understand from him if he did any snooping, what did or did he not find?
Right.
You know, snooping in my apartment.
Okay.
I think that we can find out something interesting from that, because I wonder, you know, did he or did he not find?
Did he find it?
Well, I don't know what you mean by it.
Did he find
stuff? Just things. I wouldn't say that I'm hiding anything from you right now in my apartment. But I wonder if when he did have a look, what he might have all stumbled across.
Yeah, and if he found it.
Not that there's anything. Well, there's nothing to find. But I think like
did you find it?
An academic sense. But did he find it? And I think that I need to know that for curiosity and not legal reasons.
Yeah, curiosity and sort of like safety.
We could probably ask him that.
Security reasons kind of thing. Yeah.
So sort of, it's like a formality thing. I should probably be aware of what he might have or have not stumbled across. So
exactly.
And who we can ask him that.
And who he's telling. You know what I mean? And where do they live?
If he's telling someone, then if he's telling somebody, then it's going to end pretty quickly.
Lots of people go missing around David.
There's nothing to tell. It's a short tell.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's a brief kind of conversation because he found nothing, because there's nothing to find.
In one study, for instance, participants were asked to imagine.
It's referencing a study.
Yeah.
It's making up a study. All right.
Is it making up a study? It could be making up a study.
It could be
dangerous territory for AI.
Hey, listen, AI, watch yourself.
In one study, for instance, participants were asked to imagine that they were house sitting for a friend when they found a box of items that didn't belong to the friend in question. The items included a pregnancy test, letters from an ex-lover, and a sex toy. Needless to say, the participants who imagined finding these items felt pretty uncomfortable afterward. Did you make that up, AI? Did AI just make up this ex-sexy lover story?
Yo, AI, that's pretty randy.
AI is so horny, dude. AI is so horny.
AI is down to mess around. If you are, imagine this sex toy in this box. I'm good, actually, AI.
Hey guys, really quick. So what we're going to do is today, thank you all for coming in. What we're going to do today is we're actually going to imagine that you have been tasked with house sitting for a friend. Now, in this particular instance, you've been snooping because you're a little bloody snoopster, and you've found a pregnancy test, letters from an ex-lover, and a sex toy. Sort of the first thing that you uncover. How do you feel?
Confused. I thought this was like a lab study.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well,
I see my coat that I'm wearing.
I'd answer a quiz or something.
Well, this is the first question to the quiz, and you will fail if you don't answer it. So, you found my fucking dildo and my stories and my letters. Right. How do you feel about it?
I'm in your house.
You're at your friend's house. Sorry, you're at.
I'm at my.
Yeah, your friend.
You said you're
at. Okay.
Sorry.
Let me contextualize this.
Sorry.
Very more specific to you. You're at Pat's house. Pat had to go away.
Wait, how do you know who Pat is?
We watched your podcast. Now, you've got Pat. Well, that was part. It was part of this. It was part of the screening questions because it was like, have you ever had a house guest? Have you ever been a house guest? Blah blah blah. And then you told the Pat story to Mike. And then
said, do you have a podcast and can you link it? That was probably why you know about it.
Yeah. Well, that's
just oddly specific on the form. It's just so weird. There's no one else here, and I'm the only participant.
Definitely. Go ahead. So you find Pat's dildos, okay?
Got it.
And his letters from ex-lovers.
Okay.
And also you find, and this is hold on. This is very specific to you. This is very specific to you. You also find some Polaroids of you, but that have been taken without your knowledge. Sort of like, so you getting in your car, but like kind of behind a bush. You at the gym working out, but it's kind of like clearly been taken like through a window from outside.
Through like a window. Yeah, got it.
So you're house sitting for Pat. You uncut. You're a Snoopy fuck. You're Snoopy fuck. All right.
And so
you find all of Pat's sex paraphernalia that you know that he loves, or you didn't know that he loves. And then in that in that same box, you find like pieces of paper that have like David and Pat, and then like love hearts like around it, and like D Pats, and then like a little arrow through it, kind of thing. And then you also find these sexy Polaroids of yourself, sort of again taken without your knowledge.
Yeah,
you find those. How do you feel?
A little confused, a little aroused, and just bewildered. I didn't realize Pat felt this way. I'm not gay, but I feel like the romance of it is kind of overcoming me. And so
the romance,
I don't know,
the romance of this potential stalker-like situation. Sorry, have you ever seen the Netflix television series You?
One of my exes.
Oh no! David's gonna do my favorite thing that he does: reveal a deep, dark, secretly held truth about himself. Let me get comfy. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, go.
So I might have told you this already in private, but I certainly haven't said it on recording. One of my exes once said to me, we were lying. I think I have told you this. We were lying in bed, and I was watching something or I was reading or something, and she was watching You on her iPad or something like that. And she turns to me quite casually.
Yeah.
She kind of looks at me for a moment and looks back to the iPad and hits pause. And I kind of like, hey, what's up? And she goes, don't take this the wrong way, but you really remind me of Joe. Like the main character from You, who, by the way, is a serial killer. And I was like, what do you mean by that? She goes, you just kind of you talk in similar ways. She's like, I don't. She's like, no offense, and I was like, okay.
Hey, don't
Not sure how else to take that.
Don't take any offense to this, okay? But you sound and act like a creepy stalker, psycho killer man.
Yeah.
You've got very similar mannerisms.
Yeah. And I knew what she meant, which is that like his narration of that is quite prosaic, and it kind of, I talk like I'm an encyclopedia sometimes, but the way that she said it, I was like,
yeah, that's what she meant.
There's a different way to, anyway.
Yeah. All them pros, that's what it was.
Well, pros like PROSE, not. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And that's why.
And
for no other reason.
Yeah. And so that's why. And so that's a fun fact about my life. Now we're sort of on it's the junior episode. We're on kind of a tight deadline.
Yes.
Should we try and work our way through ironically, this is the largest feature question I've ever brought to the table. So it's a real pickle. So,
yeesh.
Yeah.
Just quickly, in conclusion, AI says, by following these simple steps, get plenty of rest, resist the urge to snoop around too much, and be mindful of how much you talk, you can be sure that you'll be a welcome house guest next time you're invited over. Thanks for reading.
Okay. Thanks for reading?
Yeah. I prefer, it gave sort of like an alternative ending, which was, following these simple steps will ensure that both of you and your house guests have a great time during your stay. Remember, blah, 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 listing all the things, do your research, plenty of sleep, be respectful. With a little bit of effort, anyone can be a great house guest.
Oh, that's a good ending. I like that better than thanks for reading.
Yeah.
Thanks for reading's like oddly self-gratifying.
Yeah.
James, I'm an analyst at a small business, 25 employees. I applied here mostly because of the great reputation this place has for putting out good work in my industry, and started this job about 3 weeks ago. It's my second job after grad school, so I have little experience under my belt, and I'm pretty junior. So, starting out early. When I got my onboarding materials, it was specified that the dress code was formal, which I chalked up to wanting the employee's presentation to match the sleek and well-decorated office space I had seen in my walkthrough. Oh, we're in some fancy duds now. Not a big deal, and after so long working from home, I couldn't complain about getting to shop for some new business outfits and professional heels, honestly. Yeah, you do it. Look good. My first week, everyone was very polite, but felt pretty reserved, which I assume was due to them not knowing me yet. We've all done that. First day of job. It's, first week. It's weird. On the Monday of my second week, I had a few documents in my hand as I was heading to the copy room when one of my coworkers, a peer, asked from his office if I could grab his print job from the printer tray while I was in there. I replied that I would, and said that I'd be out once I figured out how to make the double-sided bound copies on the new copier, so it might be a few years once I finally had it back to him. To clarify, because this apparently needs clarification, this was a joke. I was actually going in there to make a double-sided bound copies, but was joking about the trickiness of dealing with the copiers. In reality, I figured it out in less than 5 minutes. I brought the coworker's document with me on my way back, not thinking anything else about the interaction. Super normal. Hey, could you get my stuff when you're at the printer? Yeah, once I work out how to do the crazy bound thing, it'll take me a few years. You do it, you bring it back, no dramas. At the end of the day, my boss asked me if I could stop by as what?
Just, and again, dude, I'm so thankful that I don't work in an office environment anymore, because that whole, just being like the most palatable version of yourself, and then just
so vanilla.
Yeah, like just round off all of those edges, be the most. It's just, if someone's like, working hardly working, am I right, everyone? Like, dog.
Yeah.
Please
that's the joke of the title.
Just don't say anything.
Just don't.
Just say nothing.
Just don't. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'll get this back to you and the 2 shakes of a lampstand if I can figure out how to use this old ancient technology. Am I right, everyone? PDFs now, though. PDFs.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you would say that you would. Well, no, you've kind of accidentally predicted where this is going. You would say that's kind of a nothing interaction, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, my boss asked if I could stop by his office before I headed out. I did, and when I got there, our HR rep was in there with him. HR told me that it concerned him that I made a joke about using the copier earlier, and that another coworker had come in to raise this as well after overhearing me say it. I confirmed that it had been a joke and a very lighthearted and minor attempt at establishing some rapport with my new coworkers. Then my boss said he didn't think that kind of remark went over well. Not sure what he was getting at, I apologized for it and said that it was not my intention to reinforce any harmful stereotypes about women in the workplace being incompetent at basic tasks.
Whoa,
good pivot to be like,
that is like a wild reach to.
Well, what else do you do in that situation? I don't know why I said that because Jerry Seinfeld, but that's like how, you know, we don't want that to be misinterpreted. How could that be misinterpreted?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess women aren't good at stuff. Like that's your only.
It's weird, yeah, but it's like it's weird that you would have to you'd have to almost like be guilty of even having that weirdly sexist thought in order to comprehend that that's potentially what the problem was, to then apologize for it. Because when you said it, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where the fuck did that come from? It didn't even register with me. But again, this is why say nothing. Don't make your stupid joke. Just shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up, Friday.
Yeah, I'll get this back to you.
You say that, James. James, I think you actually agree with this business. HR said that was not the issue. It was the fact that I made a joke at all that he wanted to flag for me.
Hey! Stop smiling and stop giggling. Hey, this isn't a happy place.
Don't be having fun.
Yeah.
He said that our office was not one where jokes will go over well, and that while I wasn't being reprimanded, he wanted to let me know that in the future I should not use humor or jokes or sarcasm because people could take it the wrong way. Joke-free zone.
This is a no-joke zone.
This is no goofs and gaffs in here. This is a gaff-free border. Kind of dumbfounded and assuming that this was a pretty narrowly tailored comment. Okay, this person is taking it the same way I would, which is like, it feels personal because this is insane if it's just not personal. Like they're being like, this feels like it's attacking me.
What if
no business?
Yeah, but what if the boss is
like this?
The boss isn't coming down on him. He's just giving him a heads up. He's like, dude, this isn't a place for jokes. Trust me. I've tried to joke here before, and just between me and you, there's a lot of little snarky cunts around here. There's a joke. I have really tried to crack the joke egg in this place. Doesn't happen. But save yourself the trouble. Don't do jokes here. Don't do jokes here, dude. I've been here for 12 years. Haven't gotten even so much as a chuckle.
My boss jumped in to clarify that actually they meant that we're not supposed to make jokes ever, whether or not we have, you know. So I've skipped those and stuff. HR finished by saying this was not a write-up or anything, and my boss said that my work quality so far has been great. I got my things and went home for the day. I've since realized that maybe my initial impression of everyone acting reserved when I started and the formal dress code might all be indicating a more serious workplace than I expected.
Yep.
To clarify, I am not interested in doing stand-up comedy at work, nor am I a gregarious person in my personal or professional life.
Okay.
You know, she's not a James, all right? She's not loud and proud and fun.
Right.
But like, what? I don't think my big takeaway from this is disappointed that I'm... I don't think my big takeaway from this is disappointment that I'm not supposed to make jokes at work. In brackets, and I love this detail, I am not especially funny. Don't be like that to yourself. But I'm concerned that a throwaway comment I made has been policed to this level. All my friends and family balked when I told them this and told me it's an insane policy.
Yes, it is.
But the normalcy with which my boss and HR presented this to me is making me feel like I'm the crazy one.
Yep.
Is this normal in an office environment?
Unfortunately, for some places, yeah.
Yeah. Let me give you the tagline. Do I just resort to being a stone-faced, serious business lady while in the office and accept this insane quirk of the job while reaping the benefits of my position? I don't think there's anyone in the office I'd feel comfortable raising it with to get the temperature on it, as if some of them don't approve of it or think it's crazy too. They're all very much acting in line with the whole never make a joke or comment in any way to be considered not straightforwardly work-related.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if there are other dissenters. Any help would be very useful here. Very is in caps, because you have to quit the job, fake your death, and move countries, I think.
The reality is,
I suggest that a lot.
Is that there are, and there might not be, hey, unfortunately, the answer to this might also be a joke-free zone, because there are some places that are just like this. It's very serious. People take themselves far too seriously. I worked at a place that had so many people working in this office building. It was dead silent all the time. You could hear the air conditioning and nothing else.
Oh no.
Dead silent. You weren't even allowed to put in headphones and listen to music, because you had to be like available. Like if your phone's ringing or if someone wants to come up to you, they're like, people might think that you're unapproachable if you have like headphones on or anything like that.
That shit is so fucking corny.
There was someone in my department who sometimes she would have to put headphones on for maybe like a video call or something, and she would say to everyone holding her headphones, "Hey guys, just gonna put my headphones on for a bit. Just gonna jump onto a call. Just wanted everyone to know."
Dog.
Why are you letting us know? This is insane. And that place,
it's fucking wild.
That place, no shocker here, sucked. And everyone there sucked. And I also couldn't understand why every single person I talked to, no matter what level they worked in or what department they worked in, HR, legal, you know, they were dealing with like international clients or whatever. It doesn't matter who I talked to. Everyone had only been there 6 months, 8 months.
Oh, that's
11 months.
Always a red flag.
And I was like, I was like, weird. Okay. And then the more I got to know about the place, I was like, oh, it's because everyone else realizes at a point this place sucks and they leave. That's why. If you this isn't a goof. If you end up working in a place like that, leave. Leave. Because let me tell you, there are so many places and businesses, things you can do with your life that will let you be not always your full self. I think that there's always like a division between like your personal and your kind of work self for a lot of people, but you can, like, go to a job where you can just throw in some earbuds and listen to some music you like while you do your fucking job. That should not be like an issue. The idea that a joke that vanilla, like it's not even a, like the stuff I say at work is incredibly risque compared to this. Yeah.
And I'm granted I'm fairly senior, but it's like, you can't even be doing the like, oh, the copier's complicated joke. Like that's not even really a joke, really. Like it's just that, like that's fucking wild to like.
It's weird.
It's yeah. I say fucking meetings all the time, and nobody's been like, oh, you shouldn't swear like that. It's just part of my like flavor. Like I'm the same on this show as I am at work. It's part of the thing I do now, and it's insane to me that. And I get it. It's like your second job or whatever. It's your first like proper job. But the notion that like you would swallow your pride and be like, well, but it's a good job. And you know, maybe I'm the crazy one.
Doc, how much money does someone have to pay you for you to just give up? And
like $500,000
to just fucking go in each day with fucking the worst people. Maybe you really enjoy the work that you're doing and you just don't enjoy the people. So that could be, you know, if you don't enjoy the work that you're doing and also don't enjoy the people, super simple. Yeah. Quit. It's a job. Go get another job.
Quit. Yeah.
If you enjoy the work, that can be more difficult because you're like, I actually enjoy what I'm doing. It's just everyone else here kind of fucking sucks.
Just they suck.
And then
it's like
the opposite can be true. Like you can be like, I really don't like the work here that much, but I fucking love the people.
Yeah.
The last job that I had was both. Loved the work, loved the people. And it was like, when you get that perfect mix.
Oh, it's so good.
Where you love the people and you love the work. Oh,
it's so good.
Dog, work doesn't become a chore to go to anymore. It doesn't suck to go to. You're actually weirdly looking forward to like actually going in. It's wild and disgusting. Yeah. But it's awesome.
I have that in my job at the moment, and it's foul and it's great. Like, it is just when it all aligns and you're like, I like the people I work with. I like who I work for. I like the thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's great. And I guess all to say, like, you have so many options. It never feels, this is the thing that is so tricky. It never feels like you have options because we're always so busy all the time doing the thing that's in front of us. But it's like, you can go find other places that will want you. I realize it's a complicated time in a lot of industries with like a lot of layoffs and the potential recession in America, and like, cash is really expensive at the moment, but it's like, you got options, and it is your responsibility to yourself to exercise them to the greatest of your extent. That doesn't mean quit the job and go find somewhere else to work. It means doing what you've done and talk to your family and friends, talk to people you trust, and be like, hey, is this weird? This is, should I stay here? And like, exercise your ability to like assess what you can and can't do, and then make a choice. Don't just like, this happens so often, I think, with young people, because especially if it's your first real job, I say real as in like your first corporate job, you should ask people if something is happening you feel is weird. Ask them if it's weird. Because if you don't have 10 years experience in the industry like we do, you can sometimes be like, oh, maybe that's like a thing I didn't know about that no one talked about. Like, talk about your work to other people. Find out if the environment you're in is normal.
Yeah.
That's my best. That's not a goofer. That's just my best advice, is like, talk to people about it. And someone that you trust is going to be like, that's fucked. That's weird.
This is also why it's really important to, when you go for an interview. I know that people say it all the time. They're like, treat it as though you're interviewing them as well. But you do actually, you do need to interview them. And you do need to 100%. Ask questions about things like that. What's the culture like here? What's your favorite thing about what you do? What's things like, you really want to get a gauge for the type of people that work there, because some people just interview really well, and they might be like, you might go into an interview and the person that you're talking to is like, great, and then you actually get the job and you're like, oh, everyone else sucks. They tricked me because they're good at talking. Yeah. Now, there's a risk of that happening.
They do for a living.
Yeah, but you do need to like get a sense of what the place is like that you're going into, and by asking questions, even just like looking stuff up online. Like, I have like a whole list of questions that if I go for an interview somewhere that I'm asking, because I want to know, what are the people like here? What's the work environment like? And you really want to weed out those places. I've turned down jobs because, they were doing work for people that I didn't agree with, or or the vibe wasn't like what I was looking for. But yeah.
I would say, to kind of round off that thought, I would say the thing that I always do is just like, find out the kind of person you're going to be working for. One of the things that will make or break you, if you're going to go to a job for 7.25 hours a day, one of the things that will make or break your wellness and happiness and just general life is whether you like the person you work for, because they will they are ultimately who you are accountable to. For the most part, I realize it's not always true of all businesses, but like, if you don't like your boss, you're not going to enjoy that job. That's kind of end of story. So that's where I always start and work backwards from. And so when you find a boss you like working for, you will find ways to excuse things like, oh, they're not paying me enough, or the hours are weird, or I don't love all the work. If you find someone that you like working for that is a great mentor for you, like, you should like hold on to that as much as possible within reason. Because I think for me, that's always been the thing, is like, if you find a great mentor that you enjoy working for, who is in your corner, that is invaluable, because the number of terrible bosses I've worked for is like incalculable. But for a joke answer to round off this episode of The Advisory Junior, to be a bit of funny on the end of the just good general advice we just gave, shall I do a funny? you want a funny?
Yeah, do a funny one.
What I would do is get into work early the next day, or the next time you have a big, all hands meeting, and I would I would get a whoopee cushion, and I would sort of sneak that under the chair of your boss, and when he sits down, you could be terribly offended and be like, well, that's very improper, and sort of put the egg on his face, on his head, as it were, egg on his face with the whoopee cushion. You could kind of do that one as a bit of a prank to get him back. And then when he says, "Whose whoopee cushion is this?" You say, "I don't know what a whoopee cushion is. How can I simply? I don't know what that is." You could kind of go down that route.
Yeah, I personally had to go with like once he sits down on it, then turn to say your boss's name is Jared, sort of like turn to everyone and go, "Yeah, Jared," like that to everyone. Yeah,
yeah, you could do that. If you want to get caught, you could do that. So
perfect. I think we've done it.
Yeah, I think that's the episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this junior episode of The Advisory. You can follow us on socials at BLAK Swan Society everywhere. We're on the TikTok. We're on the twits. We're on the gram. We're on the gram. And if you want to email us, you think to yourself, man, I wish those boys, those good handsome boys would help me out with some advice. You can email us blackswansociety.mail@gmail.com. Send us your advice, your questions, your feedback. And as always, wherever you consume this show, whether it's Twitch, an eventual podcast catcher, whether it's YouTube eventually, wherever you find this, please do consider giving us a rating, a comment, or doing the things on those platforms that help people find the show. The more you do that, the more likely it is we will find the right kind of people who enjoy the kinds of things we do. We thank you so much for watching or listening. This has been an episode of The Advisory Junior. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We hope you have a good day. James, it's that time of the episode. Very quickly, should we do our thing where we tell we find people something to YouTube very quickly? Very quickly. 3, 2, 1.
Serial killers.
Fracking serial killers. Pop that into YouTube. Check out what's up. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We appreciate the heck out of it. We will catch you guys same bat time, same bat channel next week. We've been The Advisory. Peace out. Take care. Stay safe out there. Other platitudes. Goodbye. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Say hi to your mum for me. Isn't that what Rove used to say? We've done a Rove right at the end. Rove them.
Yeah, you done it. You done it right at the end. Yeah, that's what you done. Goodbye. Hey, see ya. Hey,
bye.
Hey, get out. Hey, we're closed. Get out. Take your ball and your bat and get the fuck out of my house. We're closed.
Roved ya.